Good afternoon. Sunday morning. After various tweaks and changes, finally, maybe this is the version to put on YouTube. I try and try and try again, and could not find the right setup. There was always some kind of, I would not say disaster, but you know, I eventually got there flying safely. Just software issues, always software issues. So I would like to welcome you in Houston Hobby. That is the airport that we're departing from, and I'm going to be flying to Jacksonville, Florida, which is Kilo Juliet Alpha X-ray. And the flight is going to be around 1 hour 45 minutes. Should be uneventful, but that's what we always say. And surprises have the nasty way of showing in very unannounced ways. So first thing, this is cold and dark. This is X-Plane 11 737 800 Zebo Mod. So what we're going to do is start ground, GPU connect, and if you can hear it, it started already. So I'm gonna go and connect battery first. That will give you some electrical power. We're gonna arm emergency lights. Okay, that is the way to do it. And we're gonna put GPU on the bus. So now when we have a power, it shows here. We're gonna go to align our inertial navigation system, which both knobs go to nav, and then you have brief lights, nav, and then align, and it's gonna take probably 6 to 8 minutes, but we're not in rush. We're gonna do the pre-flight setup first and go on with life. So as you see, there is nothing on display yet. We're gonna go here, put some lights on. We still have time to do that. Maybe it's not the most glamorous part of the job, but I would say it's essential, because what you put in the computer is gonna have effect where you fly, how you fly, and all this stuff. So without wasting time, we're going to click. Those are left buttons and right buttons, so we call L1 and go to FMC. We have a current data, which will expire in a few days, but right now is good. This is 737-800 with winglets. Engine rating is 26K. We go to position init. We will set the GPS left as our position right here. Whenever you have squares, that means that information has to be filled. So we're gonna put this in, and then the reference airport is Kilo Hotel Oscar Uniform. Reference airport right here. And you see the positions are close, matching almost. Yes. So you know that you are in the right place. So we go to route. Computer already put this in a scratch pad, so we know that we're departing from Houston. According to sim brief, I have runway 17 as the departing runway, so we put it here. Destination is our Jacksonville, Florida, which is Kilo Juliet. Where's Juliet? Here, Juliet, Alpha X-ray. Okay, we put some code here, which I always put. Which is irrelevant. If you fly with virtual network, like the best network is Pilot Edge, but you have to pay, unfortunately, and it's only on the western part of the United States. Second, VATSIM, so-so quality. There's a third one also. I wish that people will invest more to give better quality, because sometimes it's very hard to hear them. And then you have to type, and typing and flying and approaching, and in the busiest time probably is not the best way to do it. Okay? So when we enter, there's nothing more. We just go to next page. And when we fly and depart, and we have proper structure, which if you fly on a network, you have to follow. But I'm not flying. I'm not using ATC, so I'm modifying my route to my needs, or to get easier, to not to have drastic turns or zigzagging. So my first point is NAPSI, November, Alpha, Papa, Sierra, Yankee. It goes here. So normally, if you have proper SID, which I was assigned to this one, a lock of 4, and well, we're gonna follow a little bit of it, but not full, because I like to fly runway heading for a little bit longer, not turn right away. Or maybe if you have ATC, you fly runway heading, and then you have vectors to first point. Anyway, I'm not gonna do this. Okay, so back to route, and here we don't want to activate yet, so we're just gonna do it here. So we're gonna go to a loco, which is Echo Lima Oscar Charlie Oscar. The next point is I would say chickpea, but is Charlie Hotel Papa Echo Echo. Next one is Grippy, which is Golf Romeo India Papa Yankee. We're gonna put it here. Next we have VOR code SBI, Sierra Bravo India. So where we are, Sierra Bravo India, and put it here. And it's asking which one is that. So I already checked. This is 1554. So normally pretty close is going to be the top of the list. I don't think it's going to be any, because it never happened to me that there was different one. Okay. But in case the computer has to search the database and it sees SBI, I have 3 of them. Okay, so I have to list it, and then you as a pilot, you have to choose. If you choose by mistake something else, we're gonna step through it, but you may fly in a different direction without knowing if you don't pay too much attention, and then you run out of fuel, and then you know what's gonna happen. Not nice. Okay, so we're going to next page. This is part of our assigned route, Lima Lima Alpha, right here. And if you have a route, you put route in the left side. So J, Q, anything with a weird number, which is not 3 code or 5 code, is going on this side, most likely. Everything which has a 3 letter, or I only saw one point which has 4 letter, but everything else has either 3 letters, it's going to be a VOR, and has 5 letters, it's going to be waypoint. HRV, that's like Honda. Hotel Romeo Victor. I'm gonna go Sierra Juliet India. Sierra Juliet India. This is J2, there we go. So we have a route here, J2, who's gonna go on this side, boom. And then you see the boxes, you have to put the information, and this is Charlie Echo Whiskey. Charlie Echo and Whiskey goes here. Good. I really don't know what's the meaning of direct or via route. Okay, I know what it is, route, because you can see them on a map. Sometimes direct goes direct to the point. There's no route, but everybody's using it, so technically that's the route. Anyway, I'm not a pilot, so I cannot explain everything. I try to find the logic. Sometimes there is a lot of logic in aviation, not in real life, but next point. There we go. The famous Delta. I always want to say Donald. I don't know why. Probably because of latest influence for, like, let's say last 3 or more years. I don't want to go into politics, but everybody should know what I'm talking about. So it is Delta Echo Foxtrot uniform November. That's the name. Well, it's coincidence we're talking about anyway. Next one is Cablo C Charlie Alpha Bravo Lima Oscar right here. We have Caps, that's the next one. Charlie Alpha Papa Sierra. Where are you, Sierra? Here. And that's end of our route. Now what happened that we had a sign, a star, and the star was zigzagging. I will put it in and see what happened. Sometimes on one computer it's zigzagging and on the other it's not. So I was just gonna go with the flow. We are landing according to weather right now on runway 14, and those are the stars. So we're looking for Marco 2, and yes, with transition from caps. Okay, route, boom, activate, boom, execute. Usually you execute the route after your first officer or pilot who is out on walk around, come back to the cockpit, and together you execute the route. You just go like this. Okay, so we have some route, put it in. I'm gonna step through it, but before, I like to always go with the flow, so the next computer always tell you where to go, so that's the next page, perf init. And if I go somewhere else and then get caught up with something and then I forget to put it in, and I take off, and we have not, information is not complete. Okay, so I just click on the 0 fuel weight, computer automatically populates everything here. This is fuel that is according to a plan, but this is what is in a tank. So I always add this and put this as a first option. I don't know if it's right or not, but that's what I'm doing. 7800, that's the wings, and we have 2200, 00, and that is total 10 tons even. Usually, from my experience, I see that that number is always a one decimal point, so it's just like 1/10 of a point difference. So we go 10, and I don't know if this 10 will go. I have to put 10-0. Yeah, it will go through. Reserves, I put 3 tons, 2.9, just to have fun. Cost index, the index assigned was 17. I will go faster. The number here, you can put anything, really. Let's say something like some cheap airlines who want to save fuel and don't care about how fast they go. They go cost index 6 or 5. People who prefer more time or timely fashion, I would say, the index is higher or is assigned, depends on weather or circumstances. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it. I put a 45 or 55 or whatever I feel like around that number. 60. Cruise is 350. The wind on top of climb, and that's also from SimBrief. I'm using SimBrief for to find my routes, to fly between 2 airports, and so 297, 72. It's easy to get carried away with something and then forget to put information there. Sometimes that's why it's good to go with the flow. So when you pause in the one moment, you know the next one is this. You're not gonna go somewhere else and then come back and mess everything around. So we have ISO deviation temperature. It is 3, +3. We're gonna put it here. Okay, and everything else is populated. So transition altitude in the United States, Canada is 18,000 feet. Okay, so that's how it is. In Europe it's different. In Mexico is 18.5, and so on and so forth. So we click this word. So everything on this page is good. And one. And I also put the temperature from outside, which is 24 degrees in Houston, which is right here. Okay. So I'm not taking this from my head. This gives us full power. On the simulator, you really don't wear the engines, but what I like to do is to fly as close to the real world as possible. I don't have a pilot license, so they will never allow me to fly 737. But anyway, I can do it here. So what we don't do is put assumed temperature of 47 Celsius. So the engine will use a little bit less power. Okay, and that's how you can save the wear and tear on the engine. As you know, the engines are most expensive part of the airplane. Anyway, or you can click fixed derate and then add temperature, and then, but it's getting complicated, and then it's not going to be accurate, and you may end up in, using more runway than you should. Just stick with what it is on the computer. Don't experiment too much, because I don't want you to crash. Takeoff. Okay, standard takeoff with flaps 5. On the shorter runway you go 10 or 15. For some reason I cannot put 10 here, so I can only put 15, but then you have CG calculated automatically. This is your trim. This is your speeds automatically calculated. So we have V1 at 138, boom. VR, rotate, at 140. And V2 is 146. That's the safest speeds that you can fly on one end, I think. Anyway, I don't know much. The next page, if you take off during rain, you put the runway is wet. If you have a strong crosswind or slope, you can put some information here. It's not necessary. Okay, so we put back to next page, and that's our basically setup for computer. The next part is going to be here. If you're flying with the network, you put your squawk code. I put my imaginary code, which is 737, 4737. So this is my squawk code, and when you're on the ground, before taking off, you put the alt off, and that's how it is set here. You can also test the TCAS. I think you have to keep it longer.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb, climb now. Climb, climb now. Climb, crossing, climb. Climb, crossing, climb. Climb, climb. Clear of conflict. Descend, 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 crossing, descend. Descend, crossing, descend. Descend, descend now. Descend, descend now. Increase, climb. Increase, climb. Increase, descent. Increase, descent. Maintain vertical speed. Maintain. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain. Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
So that was TCAS test. And you see I don't want to talk through the test. But if you notice in the beginning there were two planes here. One yellow, one red. That's what happened when you have information. If you put TA array on the ground, then you're gonna have conflict notice. Like you're gonna have warnings from the plane that are on the ground that they're potentially conflicting with you, and then there's a mess. So we put alt off on the ground, and we arm our flight directors, both or one if you want. First one you click is going to be master. Well, left seat is the captain's seat. That's the master, so I'm putting his first. If you have first officer flying as a flying pilot, you put this one first, and then this one is going to be a secondary. It works that way. We arm auto throttle, and this is what is showing in the display here. And then when we also adjust the speed first for takeoff. So the minimum number you have to put is 147 according to this 146. If there is a strong wind, I think you adjust temperature accordingly to the wind, but I don't know the formula, so I will put 155. So I know that I'm safe with that speed. Good. So set. Heading, you put a runway heading, basically what it is. I don't know runway heading. Right now I'm gonna go and check the runway heading. And it's gonna take me a moment. 176 is the runway heading. I'm just going to confirm again. Yes, approach course 176. There we go. So we go to explain. Go 176. I'm using a mouse scroll wheel, so that's why you see that 76. This is flipping. If you click, then you may move the mouse and then you click backwards and forwards sometimes. So it is confusing and frustrating. The worst buttons are those here. This is 3 stages. So you set from inches to, let's zoom in, hectopascals, and then you switch from standard to the pressure on this button, and that knob is also rotating. So it is on the way of frustrating. It is. This one is the same way, but it's less frustrating. Okay. To set up, I'm just going to show you. We have minimums in Houston at 227. 227, not 27. Okay. Okay, now I clicked it off. 231, too fast, too much. See, what I learned that is the best way to just go give myself a better margin, because if you notice that screen is a little bit shaking, okay? I know that 227, there you go. It is hard to align the mouse, and then especially with those buttons here, is such a little room to go from one knob to another, and yeah, frustrating. In real life, those are the best thing, because you always feel the inner button and outer button in this one. So for your hands it's perfect, for mouse it's not that best. And we're gonna listen to 80s here, which I think I have from a previous flight. 124.6, 124.6, so we're gonna listen to this.
William P. Hobby Information Mike. 1900 Zulu weather. Wind 170 at 9, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 1900 scattered, 4600 broken, 6600 broken, temperature 23, dew point 18. Altimeter 3011. Arriving runway 13 right. Departing runway 13 right. Advise on initial contact. You have Mike.
So I'm gonna do 30. Okay, too far. 3011.
William
This
P. Hobby
number-
Information Mike. 1900 Zulu weather. Wind 170 at 9, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 1900 scattered, 4600 broken, 6600 broken, temperature 23, dew point 18. Altimeter 3011. Arriving runway 13 right, departing runway 13 right. Advise on initial contact. You have Mike.
Thank you very much. She has a very nice voice, but I'm not gonna talk with her together. Okay. Now I want to say something and I forgot. What I forgot. Okay, I forgot. Probably it's not that important. So when you forget something, you just go and we're gonna step through it. So we go FMC, we go to our legs. This is our the route, okay? And here we're gonna select the right button. I usually do it on the captain side, but I'm just going to do it here on this. So we move this knob to plan, and then you can step through your route basically. It shows airplane at the gate. Okay. So first point, runway heading, NAPSI, and then we turn left. So to El Loco. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. Loco, chickpea, or chickpea, grippy, chippy grippy, SB, ILLA. I should use the proper terminology again. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna Hotel Romeo Victor HRV. Sierra Juliet India, next one. Where is the step button? There you go. Okay, we're zigzagging a little bit, but that's okay. Murray, that's not on my list, but that's okay. Next point is not on my list also. I'm just guessing this is the right one. Okay, and then this one is on my list. Charlie Echo Whiskey. Okay. Defun, remember, that's another one. Next one. Cablo. Caps. Where are we here? Caps. Where? Caps. Okay. This is coincidentally top of the sand point, but I'm gonna do something that I'll show you just in case stuff happen and this point disappears or is no longer there. Caps. That's last part of our route. Now we have a star, standard arrival, which is first point is Zeus, and this is Zeus, and then we have restrictions. Okay, you have to cross that point between below 26 and above 24, I believe. Yes, 24. So you have this number here and this number here, so it's the same. Sometimes when there's a ring, it's hard to read. The next point is Wallop. Where are we here? Go. Yes, we have Wallop. We have KHOU, and they all come with restrictions. Okay. And then we have Marco. Marco is not a restriction point. KHOU. There we go, there's another restriction. And Tash. That's another restriction. Okay, and you see, I see part of a zigzag that I was talking to you earlier. Oh, who come with a route like this? Only computer can come. So I usually set the stuff that I always, if I see zigzagging like this, I disregard the star and I write my own star. Okay, so my own star was a little bit different, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just to show you, okay, how it is done. Nothing will change in this point, so I'm just gonna put this in a scratch pad and go to the tab which is fix. Okay, so we have to put information there. You can put anything like runway or point, and then you can do rings around it. So the way it works is you go slash, I put 7 miles, that's the first ring, and you can see it here, 7-mile ring from the runway. Okay, the next ring is going to be 17. Usually you decelerate. By that time you should be all aligned, like not aligned at this point because you see what's going on, but we will because we're gonna go from this side. Anyway, it's just another awareness. And the last one is my height flight, which is 350, which we take 0 off and we multiply by 3. and this gives us 105. That's the number of miles away from the airport that you should start descent. And you can set anyway from 2000 to 1800 vertical speed, and you should be fine by here to arrive at those numbers. Okay, you can tweak the descent, you can add vertical speed or make it more shallow. Anyway, this is just awareness, it's not important, you can fly without it, but it's nice to know. Okay, so we go legs again, and we're gonna modify our route. So I just want to know from which point I'm gonna start, because I'm gonna add the points and then delete them. Okay, but I have to add them in this space that are not gonna be causing zigzagging or going from here to here to here again, because that will confuse the system and is gonna be disaster. Show. It's best to do it on the legs page, but you can do it on a step page too, then you can see right away. Anyway, the point that I'm gonna put is wall up. We go to this page here. Okay, we're gonna step through all this stuff, okay? That will be the best way. And then stop whenever I want to do it. So this is from beginning. We go this. We're going to okay, we can go Zeus. We can use half of the points that we have here. Okay. But what I did is going directly from caps to bigs. That is eliminating about 90% of the star, original star. So I'm just looking for a point that is the best to start, because then we have to delete, we have to go up, so it's better to do this, because we're not going to use those things. Okay, we go on the enter the point called bigs is Bravo, and then it's going to be here on the scratch pad. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you what's going on. India, Golf, Sierra, no, Golf, Sierra, where is Sierra? Okay, and we're going to put it here. Okay, not in the database. So let's say we go with the other point below that. We'll see what's going on. Maybe that's called Zulu, yes, Zulu, India, Zulu, India, Delta, not Donald, Wojtek, please, Sierra, Oscar, see, okay, Zulu, India, Delta, Sierra, Oscar. I'm gonna put it here, not in database. I really don't know, because I got those points from the map. The next point is here, so there's no point of doing this. Okay, so we're just gonna fly this. I'm gonna go when I'm here. I'm gonna shortcut. I'm gonna go direct to this point, so we're not gonna be zigzagging like crazy, because most likely the plane will overshoot this turn and you end up right here. and you're flying, and then you end up. The Sonia is initial descent point, but still, you want to be as close to a straight line on approach as possible. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass a little bit from here. We're gonna go direct. We're gonna bypass this one, or I can do this. Execute, and that creates the straight line. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. If you're not sure, you can go directly when you're flying, but then this is another way, which just came to me moments ago. Okay, and then you can step through, and then everything looks good now. This is a Houston departure. We go to Alaco, HP, Grippy, SBI, LLA, HRV, SGI, Murray, Inbreed, CEW, Duffin, Cablo, Caps, and Zeus, Wallop, Cam Joe, Marco, Koro, Touch, Orstar. There's other points that are not in database. I don't know why. I just got them from the map, which are right here, but they're not in database, so we cannot use them. And this is our miss approach. If we miss for some reason, we have to go to. It is different from the plate, but it says initially on the plate, it says fly 2000 and then left turn to 4000 and hold at the VOR somewhere, but this is our miss approach point here. Okay, this is what it is, 3000 feet, so enough of that confusion. Done. So what we're gonna do is move this back to map and move this. This is the range, and we're gonna move this to 40 miles. So I have 10 miles in this one, 40 miles on this one, and then you have a little 20 here, that's halfway, and a little 5 here, that's halfway. Good. And it's already reading a VOR that is set up from last time, but the next one on is 115.4, which is this one, and we're gonna set, that's the first VOR. Then the next one is 110.4. Okay, and then we're gonna switch and then move accordingly. I could put a VOR here, but I use this for localizer. So you can use localizer on both sides, or you can use localizer on the captain side only. It will work either way. You can put localizer in the last moment, but it's not really recommended. And yeah, so anyway, runway 14 in Jacksonville, localizer is 110, okay, 110.5, which is the upper knob. And then we're going to switch here. So when we're taking off, we're not going to have any information from the Houston localizer, okay? And that's how it is. Those are your nav radio. No, this is nav radio. This is COM radio. COM 1 and COM 2. So we have two sets of radios. There's no VHA to it. the one that you're using for those are VHF. No, I'm talking about the one that is for oceanic routes. There is no radio like this here. And then the second part here, this is NDB, okay? This is weather radar, which is not working. Or it works with certain apps which I don't have, okay? Here, trim, this is rudder, and this is aileron trims. I'm not using. Lock fail means that the door is open, okay? That lovely door to the cabin, right here, is open. You can close, but then I miss announcement, so you see, now it says no light. Good. We go to overhead panel. Oh, this takes too long. Normally when I'm flying myself, it's not going to be taking that long. The best way to scan overhead panel is to go by panel, okay? And they're divided into sub-panels. So you see those little lines here. So you go like from top to bottom, and then from top to bottom, and then from top to bottom, and then top to bottom, and then to bottom. Okay. So we're gonna go this way. That's the proper way. We're not touching anything here. The first one is yaw dampener. What it does, normally when you fly, you have to, in the Cessna, let's say, you have to put input with the rudder pedals first, and then you have a little plane with a ball and shows you where the ball is and if you side slip or anyway to coordinate turn. Yaw damper does it for you. So here we just use the yoke, and that's how we turn, okay? And nothing else. We don't use the rudders in the flight, only on approach. And when we taxiing, this is how it works. Good. But now we're going back to overhead panel. So we click yaw damper on. Sometimes you can put one pump for APU. I just put everything. Just not to forget, that's the simple thing. Okay, so this panel, you don't have to touch anything here. It's not gonna do a dumb squawk. It's only displaying information. Okay, for me, I'm just liking numbers. So the next point, I'm gonna go from GPU to APU. So I switch to APU. If you don't see that, so this is ground power. This is APU generator, and this is generator from the engine 1 and engine 2. Engine 1 here and engine 2 here. This I don't know what it is. Okay, so we zoom back, and so that's what I'm using for me, just to have fun. Okay, so next is electrical panel. We have light that is ground power. We are on a bus right now, and we have pumps on, so we can flick the APU, low pressure, and then hold for 3, press 1, 2, 3, and let it go. And this is the EGT temperature, so it is temperature of a gas of jet engine, which is APU. Good. This knob is the circuit breaker background, the panel background. You don't touch that, you don't touch that. Here, seat belts. They should be on when you finish fueling. Left, right wiper. Engines. The next one is heat for windows, so window heat. Pitot heat, we leave it until the engine is on. Anti-ice, we don't need it, it's 25 degrees. Hydraulics, we need some to test the to find out if we have a movement, that everything is fine. Flight code. See, I have a problem with the words. Yeah, I'm thinking faster than I can say. Anyway, trim air guns on. This is the temperature. We just leave it like this. This is a pressurization panel. So right now we don't touch. If you're in a real plane on the ground, you turn the APU on. You put PAX on for a condition. But at home you don't need it. Okay, so this is APU bleed. We put APU on and you see the duct pressure rises, so this is the pressure to start the engines. If you have a PAX on, there's not enough pressure, so you have to turn them off to start the engine. The next one, this is very important panel. This is your cruise altitude. For pressurization, we were told to go 35. And then landing altitude is elevation 29, which is next to nothing, which is gonna go and put 50. Or you can leave 0 and that's okay. This panel is a light panel and engine panel. And you can see left, right igniter both. It really doesn't matter. It's just in each engine you have igniters that are setting the fuel alight, okay? So in case the fuel is self-igniting, but in case that flame goes away for some reason, there is igniter to flame the fuel. You put this in icing condition, rain condition, and takeoff and landing, just in case you don't have a problem with engines. This light should be always on in the beginning. This is whenever you start GPU, you put this light on, okay? When people go into cockpit first, this is what they do first. So they put the lights on. That ground crew knows what is going on, that there's somebody in the cockpit already. So this is the plane we're gonna use from Houston. It's parked at the gate. And we're gonna test that we have a movement. So full right, full left, full down, full up, right rudder, and left rudder. And I always go and see the wheel is also turning, and it does. And we can put spoilers up and spoilers down. So this goes from outside, and then you can see there's a nice effect of hot air coming out from APU. And we're wasting a fuel because the GPU is here. So the next step, we're gonna put APU, we're gonna put APU on a bus. So we're not losing a power when we switch GPU off, which I was about to do it. Ground power, GPU off, and then we go to better pushback. We're gonna plan here. And okay, so this is, and we're just gonna go like this. Okay, here. Guess we don't need anything more fancy. So I click with the mouse and hit enter.
All right, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
I love this part of plugin. It's better pushback. It's just absolutely amazing. You will fly around the world, you have a different accent of people who are serving the ground. It's fun to listen. Anyway, so we're taking from 17, and this is all like, you know, on top of each other, but this is our runway, okay? So we're gonna go from here, we're gonna take probably taxiway Echo, and then we're gonna go stop before crossing 13 left and 31 right, and then we go to 17, and then we take off, okay? So that's good for now. And just gonna scan everything that everything is fine. We have flight directors, you have auto throttle, you have a checklist for that, so that's another part that you should use, especially in the beginning. And I have problems that I'm not using checklists properly. MCP panel, that's the one that I was talking about. Auto throttle arm, IS max selector set V2, I put a little bit more. LNAV as needed, heading, initial heading, altitude, initial altitude, flight deck windows closed and door locks, taxi auto, briefings complete, exterior doors closed, start clearance obtained. So we're going to look at the overhead panel. Those lights right here, those are the hatches and doors lights. If you see the lights on, that means the door is open. Okay, make sure you can close them. Like your aircraft comes with the closed doors, but you can open them and for fun and have forgot. Okay, so that's where you see the doors open. So we've done this. We're just gonna go and go to better pushback, which is here, and we're gonna request pushback. It's gonna take some time.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Perfect news. I love that news. So we go back here. No, we go back to overhead panel. Sorry, I hit the mic. So as I said before, lights are on. We're gonna start, so we put beacon lights on. Okay, those lights, the landing lights and taxi, and we're not gonna do it now because if we put it on, we're gonna blind the crew. Okay, we heard that he arrived, and I'm gonna show you how he looks like from the camera that he has on the truck. Better push back here.
All right, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Good. So for a moment I thought something is not working, but it was just in a wrong view direction. So he's grappling the front wheel and he's gonna lift the front wheel. So he's lifting the airplane now. So here's the pivot point now. Here's the steering point. And the pivot point, I'm sorry,
welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is to kill the parking brake, which is on right now, the red light, we press the tow brakes. Boom. Okay, and he knows that. So we go back to
here comes the pushback. Light him up.
Come here. We're gonna see how he's pushing us. Don't worry if you overrun any of those pesky cart trucks or something. It's not gonna be damaging your plane. Before I was thinking that I'm gonna crash, but nothing is happening. Okay. So when you're away from the gate, you can, and we will do, start the engine. So the first thing, you have to have packs off, you have to have pressure on, and switch this to continuous, and this is, oh sorry, wrong, ground. Number 2, ground, and then you look here. Then you see the start valve open. And when N2 reach 25%, then you introduce the fuel, which is here. Boom. Oh. I'm setting up the trim. So EGT rises, we have a fuel flow. EGT rises, it will reach the peak and then drop down. This is the maximum that EGT should come up to safely, but it's rising a peak around here and then drops down. Shut valve, start valve shuts, and that click was the one that you heard. And when the mark disappears, that means that the engine is stable. So we go overhead panel. We put that engine on a bus.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
And we put pitot heat on. Okay. He said to put parking brake, but I'm gonna hold on because I just go with the flow. First we put the engine on the bus, then we put the pitot heat on, and then we put the engine on the continuous. If you forget, then you will have problem that the engine is not on a continuous.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
Okay. So now we're gonna start number 1 the same way. We go to continuous. Gonna look at the engine. So this fan is N1 and it's rotating slower. N2 is rotating faster. We put the fuel in. In real life, in the Boeing 737, you put your hand on the lever that I've just flipped, just in case if there is something funny going on here. Not funny, but not natural. So EGT peak, and it goes down, and the peak is way before.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left.
Okay.
Take it easy and have a safe flight.
Thank you. So we're going back to overhead panel. We put the engine generator on a bus. We can switch this to continuous. Everything else here is nice. We can get rid of APU. Okay, APU off. Then when we're done with the engines, they're operating, we put packs on, left, right, and you can hear the air going through. Isolation valve to auto. Okay, and you see that changes. So what we have, everything here is almost set up for takeoff. Almost, because the strobes are not in. Okay, I'm talking a lot and I feel like I need a drink. He said also that he's gonna be on the right with the pins that we're supposed to see him, but he's gone already. He's gonna show us the pins that he took out from the wheel, which means that the wheel now is gonna be rotating free, and if we change the position, it's not gonna do any harm. The pin disconnecting hydraulics into wheels, so there's not going to be any damage, just in case we press pedals like this. Okay, good. So we are almost ready. We're just going to do and test the warning. We have a horn. Horn means that you're not ready for takeoff, that something is amiss. In this case, there are two things, okay? Three actually. You set auto brakes to RTO, rejecting takeoff. You set the parking brake off, which is here, okay? And we set flaps to takeoff. So we put 5, and we're gonna look at here, not this one, this one. They're extending. You don't have to go there, because you will have the indicator here that shows that you are on the right flap. Okay, and we release the brake, and we're rolling. So now we can put the lights, taxi lights on. So I put taxi lights on. and follow the yellow line. Follow yellow brick road. And we're gonna put cheat sheet here, where to go. Okay. So this looks like it's using. We can use so many ways of going there. We'll see which one is the best. You see, engines are idle, and still there's enough thrust to move us. And we're doing 5 knots, 6 knots. This is the speed right now here. And there's a lineup of trucks. And normally, when you're allowed to go, these people are not gonna be there. But we'll see. We're gonna stop here if they move or not. You can go over them and nothing will technically happen in the simulator. But if you crash, this is my favorite livery for Canada. If you crash the plane in real life, you touch the body and it's that little dent, even from the bird or something. You may not fly until it's fixed. Okay, come on, what's going on here? People, don't block me. So you see the taxi Yankee is right and left. They cannot decide what to do. Oh, now I remember what I was talking. This is what I was talking. Go airport elevation, and when you put the pressure into the system, it should technically show you airport elevation. Okay? It's showing me right now about 70 feet, and it says that Houston is 49. What is telling me? This is telling me that something is not accurate. But you know what? I just disregard that, because I don't think that system is that perfect. Okay? We still have a line up here. Come on, people. Anyway, so just for your knowledge, but don't be alarmed if you have few feet off and you say, oh my god, my weather is not working, something is wrong, I have to go and check and reinstall everything from scratch. No, just don't ignore it. This is the best way. Okay, so I'm gonna follow my words and tell you that there's absolutely safe to ride over them. Because I'm tired of waiting for that. Which one we're gonna aim? The middle card. Okay, we're gonna take right here. This is Zulu. And that's Echo. That's what I was supposed to do. Go to Echo. But yeah, we're not going to talk about crashing. And the Echo will lead us to the runway. So we have, usually when we have instruction, you will have instruction to say continues through Zulu and Echo, and hold short of 31 right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold short. Normally they will tell you that you're clear to cross, but we're gonna see if there's anything on that runway, because we don't have ATC. and we don't have a computer to tell me. But sometimes X-plane like to generate traffic. There's nothing, so we're gonna have a warning that we're crossing the runway.
Approaching 13 left. Approaching runways.
Okay, now his computer is confused which runways, so it's saying the runways. But you see, we're gonna stop here. We shouldn't, but this is 17. This is the runway that we're taking off. Okay. So normally when you're waiting, you do the proper pre-flight. Yes. So we start from putting an emergency brake on. No, a parking brake on. Emergency brake is in the car, so parking brake on. Okay. We get rid of this because this also shows if there's any generated traffic flying into the airport or not. So I will know here if there's anything. Okay, I don't see anything, so I can park there and it's fine. We're gonna do something to prepare to be ahead, and we put the code for Jacksonville, so when we land there we know where to go. Good. So well, first thing is, at this point before entering the runway, you put your switch to TARA. That is on. The next one is overhead panel. You switch landing lights on. You can take the taxi lights off, and engines are continuous. And we're gonna put strobes on, and we start the clock. So that's what we'll do. Okay, and we imagine that
cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Thank you. And we're clear for takeoff from runway 17. So we add a little thrust. Zebo or X-plane does not like to do sharp turns, or maybe in my computer, so I do something like this.
On runway 17.
And we are on the runway, almost at runway heading 175. So we put engines to 40%. When they stabilize, we put more thrust. And toga. Push.
Approaching 13 right.
We don't care about that. 80 knots.
80 knots.
Check.
V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Positive rate, gear up. That's the stupidest thing, to have trees on the end. Okay.
400.
I lost out of throttle. Hopefully I'm gonna get back to it. So now when I'm on a truck, okay, flaps up, I'm gonna put LNAV and Command A. And vertical speed is good. And we can back up speed to go higher, okay? We can go up to 250. Or the restrictions that are there, Okay, so we're gonna put 250. So we're flying automatically now. We could hand fly. When we reach 190, okay, gear is gonna be off. RTO off. We are putting up the altitude. We've been cleared to next level, which is, I don't know, 10,000 feet, or I'm just gonna put 35 right away because we don't have ATC. Put a wing anti-ice on, just in case, because in the clouds the temperature is dropping, so we just want to avoid anti-ice buildup. And flaps up. Back to our speed selector, we got 35. When we pass 10,000, we can increase the speed to whatever is in the thing, or we can press the VNAV to see if it's working. You can press the VNAV, and then the speed is going to be managed automatically. Okay, and it's deciding to speed it up. You can see from outside. Look like perfect. Back to cockpit, and we are at 8,000 feet, 8.5. So a few things are gonna happen. We're gonna turn the lights off. We're gonna put we can put release the people because this is safe. Okay, we can do this. When we clear the clouds, we can switch the engines to auto. 9,000, but we're gonna turn the lights off now. Okay, and we check the cabin is climbing, the pressure is rising, everything else looks good here except this. I should turn the bleed off before takeoff, but the APU is not working. And those lights indicates that we have anti-ice on. This is wing anti-ice. We passed 10,000 feet, so the speed is increasing. You see, I cannot hear what is going on in the cabin. If I don't open a door, then I can hear it, but then it's not, let's say, legal or the way that it's done in the real life. So it's up to you. I fly with the door open. There's no dangers in the flight simulator. After takeoff procedure, landing gear up and off, flaps retract, autopilot engaged, air conditioning auto brake off. Landing after takeoff is complete. Okay, next next thing is gonna be when we pass 18,000 feet, we're gonna switch to standard. So on the standby, I'm putting it right now. Ouch. This is standard. Let me see. This is standard right now. On here, we can put legs. So the next point is grippy. On this FMC, we're gonna put a progress, which is telling me more about what's going on with the plane. To top of climb is 61, roughly 61 miles. And your next point is grippy, and we turn towards the right. What is good to always keep the heading with the heading here. So we took off the running heading, but right now we have 65, so we put 65. And you see what happened? Transition altitude. We pass, so we're gonna zoom in here and press this. Well, I'm zooming because I press on the edge a few times and I got a stick and everything was rolling down, and it was stick like sticky, and it was just rolling down like crazy, and I was almost crashed. So right now this is how I'm doing. I zoom in, center, click, because there was something on. I click between two buttons and this one was rolling down, and I tell you, scary. Good. So we can put engines to auto. Turn the anti-ice off and see what is the generators on number 2 or number 1. Doesn't matter. Just to have a display. Everything else here is set. We're just monitoring and climbing, and PA. We're gonna welcome people, but this is supposed to be done on the ground. I'm just gonna open the door because cannot hear. Or you can hear if you move here. Because we are in the cabin right now. This is our economy, this is our first class. And we're gonna look at the engine. We don't see much. And we're gonna go and transfer here. So if I open the door, right here, I will hear the announcements, but also hear toilet flushing and other things. But for awareness, I think it's nice to know what's going on. Anyway, see, I always set VOR's radials, one to 180 and another one opposite, which is 360 or 00. And this is how you rotate them. See? If you want to find the points on the map, but you need to have a map, you can use VORs to point those waypoints for you. Okay, we're gonna climb roughly this is our airplane nose. This is 10 miles, 20 miles. So the VOR is 10 miles away from here, so it should be on this display also, showing up momentarily. Or maybe not. It's just showing the point. But the distance is showing everything DME and roughly the same thing here. SBI, SBI. Yeah, the VOR is here. The point is somewhere else. The VOR is a different spot. When you fly over a VOR, it will momentarily confuse the needle, and this will go back to. This is the pointing needle. This is the back of the needle. It will swing. This is our climb rate right here. What we have is because we're using VNAV, we don't have to adjust anything. Computer will adjust the rate of climb and the speed automatically. If we're flying manually, we have to adjust everything according to the air that we are in. So you see the vertical speed window is blank and the speed window is blank because it's all managed by the computer, by this button. I usually don't descend on the VNAV, but according to we'll see. We have a strong tailwind, so descending on the VNAV could be tricky because VNAV like to keep the speed up. The wind prevails, we will use the ring that I set up and use vertical speed, and I'm going to use the descent manually. But you still have a VNAV profile, which is going to show here. Okay, I'm going to take a break for something to drink.
To go.
Okay, I decided that I'm gonna wait a little bit because two things are happening right now. We are almost gonna reach the cruise altitude, which is 35,000 feet. So I'm gonna announce this, okay? And we are running out of fuel inside the tank, which will give a master caution light on. Level off.
Hello again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruise altitude and the seatbelt sign is now off. Feel free to move around the cabin, but we do ask if you are in your seat that you do keep your seatbelt loosely fastened in case we do experience any unexpected turbulence. Otherwise, invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy the flight.
Okay, remember we had some fuel in the center tank. I'm just gonna use that fuel right now. I always put more fuel than I need, simply because you don't want to run out of fuel. I heard one lady, aviator, said that she would take rather fuel than a passenger, because this fuel is more important for her. That was Amelia Earhart, and unfortunately she did not complete the trip that she was flying around the world, and she was never found, but presumably she crashed on a Pacific Islands somewhere. So we can preset 114.1. 13. So LLA VOR, which is our next point, is 110.4 and is on, and it's showing us that we're going directly to it, and it shows here, and the DME 49. Also on the display we can see 42. Maybe it was 42, but it was 42. So you have DME here and DME here. This is from the FMC. This is from a VOR. They're not matching exactly, but I don't know why. FMC speed, LNAV, VNAV. Okay, if we use not VNAV or altitude hold, is going to be different information here. This is our speed. This is the danger speed, overspeed. We could go to faster speed, but that's average speed of the 737 right now. Max 77. That's normal. You can go to 81, but that's going to be burning more fuel necessarily, and the speed difference is not that great. We have 505 knots across the ground speed, which is right here. The wind is 370, so it's pushing us almost from behind. This is our true speed, 4046. Okay, what's the fuel here? $570, that's still a lot. So it's telling me here that I should put the anti-ice on, but that was old information. When temperature is above 10, plus 10, and you're in a cloud, you have to put the anti-ice on. That's the rule. So I did, but I didn't look at the message. 20 miles away from LLA, Lima Lima Alpha. There's not much view because the cloud is thick today. Yesterday I had clear skies. but you have to believe me. We're flying on the edge of ground, land and the Gulf of Mexico, and momentarily we turn a little bit more inland, meaning right, and the Gulf of Mexico is also turning. Let's continue to HRV, and then more inland. So we're just following a coast roughly. If we have clear sky, we'll see water and land, but we don't have today. So this is what I always do whenever I'm in the cruise and I start thinking about what we're gonna do. First thing goes auto brakes to number 2. It's not a big mistake if you forget, you have to brake manually, but nothing has happened when it's set, so I'll just do it. Okay. The next one, we're gonna play a little bit with FMC. So we're gonna go to menu. We're gonna put information into our approach. Wrong. Okay. We have to do first fuel calculation. So we're gonna land at Jacksonville, 6.3 tons of fuel. We have 8.3 right now, so exactly 2 tons left. Very easy calculation. So we go here, we go FMC index, approach, we go 2 tons less, so 61.9, 61.9. We're gonna put it here. This speed is changed also. And this is how we're going to use the flaps 30 and 144, 145, something like that speed, okay? So that's one thing. We go back, we go destination, and forecast. Here, we're going to put flight level, winds. Where are we? Okay. Flight level 200, which is 20,000 feet. Flight level 150, 15,000 feet, and 10,000 feet. Those are the winds that I got from Seabrief. 251 at 28. Put it here. 244 at 24. Put it here. 139. No, wrong. 230. Wind will not change that quickly, although I saw some changes. And here. And we can go and click execute, but we're gonna go and check the weather in Florida using my trusted app here, and we're gonna go to airports. Kilo Juliet Alpha X-ray, that's where we fly, and we go for Meta. Wind under 20 at 11 to 17, visibility 10 miles, few clouds at 5,000, few at 2,500,000 feet, temperature 25, dew point 11, altimeter 3017. So what we're going to do is put here 30.1717, and we're going to put it here. Okay, that is right now the information. If when we go closer to the airport and possibly every hour they go with the weather, or if the weather drastically changed, they will do a weather update. We will adjust this, but right now it's enter. That's our fuel. $330 kilo. It's still quite a lot. So I'm just gonna take a break now. Have something to drink and then I come back. So. Cockpit and nothing happened. That's good. Only we crossed the VOR, so we put the next one up and program the second one. 115.3. Okay. So we're going towards HRV. What is the city? HRV. New Orleans. New Orleans. New Orleans. That's the proper way of going. Never been there. I always want to go and check. I heard that Mardi Gras is the best thing on this planet to see, and it's safer than the second best thing is Rio. But then in Rio you can get killed or mugged or anything. I don't know. I was very close to flying to Brazil once. I don't want to say I'm glad I didn't, but I didn't. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. Even on the virtual flights, there are two continents that I did not download maps for, simply because it just took so long. One is South America and the second one is Africa. Everything else, I have it. It took half of my drive, about night and a few more hours during the day. But I have North America, Central America, so Mexico, Caribbean, Europe, Asia, Middle East, Australia, Pacific, so I could fly around the world because that was my goal when I got the sim. So when I go, what to do with this right now? Let's have a goal. So I flew around the world, and every time I landed somewhere, I visit the place on the YouTube. So I was searching for videos, and almost like I was there, but I wasn't. It took about 190 flying hours, but I was like zigzagging in Europe, so if you goal oriented and you want to go quickly, you'll probably fly quicker. Okay, we have so first when I have a ding, I always check the FMC. But I heard that ground crew, the cabin crew is checking on the cockpit crew once a while. So that's why those dings are in. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put something in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I explain those little dings here and there with no reason. But there could be a reason. There could be a message. Only the message also lights up this light here, which we're going to switch the test. See, FMC. So if you have a message, you will have a message light on here. This is auto throttle and autopilot. Okay, if you have a trouble or want to know what is something for, you can drop me a question into comments. I'll be happy to answer if I know, only if I know. Recently I found out this part, which is here, but I only partially find out what it is for. So in order to use this, you set a VREF and other speeds according to if FSC is not working for some reason, but I don't know how this can happen. But yes, this is the, I don't know where's the display for those settings. So let's say you press V1 and you select the knob, where's the number showing? I don't know. Probably I should ask somebody or experiment on the ground, but not in the air. I will never go, oh, what is this button do, and press it during a flight, because I don't want to see the consequences. Sometimes they're not nice. Okay. Nothing will happen if we disengage right now, but it's gonna be re-engaging again. And since this plane is also always have a VNAV issue, it may not work next time. So when it's working now, I just leave it. I don't need to press the button for my amusement. So next point is coming up. Hotel Romeo Victor, which is New Orleans. We found out recently. And we're going to cross at 35 and we're going to be around 19 miles. Let's see if there's any view. No, they still have a cloudy weather, but you can see farther there is a break in the clouds. So maybe we'll have nicer weather. Okie doke, so you can see master caution light on. Okay, so we go overhead panel, we turn those fuel pumps in the center line off, and the light is extinct. There's no more light. and shows here 0. Okay, if you want to avoid, click on something. If you click on that wheel, it'll disengage your autopilot. You just need to know that this is going to happen. Okay. This button is your toggle button, but it's hidden. It's hard to click. This is auto throttle disengage. That one is easier to reach. This is a mic button, but a toggle is programmed into the button. I program button to my yoke, so I have a toggle button to my yoke. Well, easier that way because I'm always using. I also pre-program other things to my throttle control, like this lever right here. Instead of fiddling and finding out if it's arm or it's not arm is very difficult, I just pre-program that arm into my throttle, so one of the levers is moving that, and then I can move to arm, you see, and then move back with no efforts, basically. Also, flaps are pre-programmed. Those are not programmed, they all stay like they're supposed to be. And yeah, no more to say. Turning, and we have to adjust. Okay, remember what happened when I was adjusting the heading? I switched this. And this is what you're supposed to do. On cruise, just in case you go to heading, you should go to 10 degrees bank. Because there is protection in LNAV if this stays on more than 10 or 15 or whatever number. You may lose, you may stall if you turn too steeply in the high altitude, simply because the air is thinner here. At this altitude we cannot breathe, basically. That's why we have pressurized airplane, okay? And that's why it's so dangerous for people to... They basically die by not putting a proper equipment. I'm gonna set the next one, 115.9. Come back to what I'm talking about. Okay, what I was talking about, the pressure variation, the oxygen in the plane. You know what this hypoxia means? That's the oxygen starvation. Our brain needs oxygen to function. If there's no oxygen, there's no bueno. You're gonna pass out and then you're dead. At this altitude, simply there is no enough oxygen to breathe. That's why airplanes are carrying their own oxygen, and oxygen pressure. Where is that? Right here. So this is the pressure should be in this range. That means that you have enough air to breathe for the flight, and then they replenish the pressurized. Okay. Nothing this time. So normally what you do pre-flight tests, and checking oxygen is one of the items on your checklist to check. But this is flight simulator, so I'm not checking everything. I'm just doing what I could say speed up checklist in my head. And yes, I missed sometimes. I missed lights. I missed setting up the strobes on or off, or the transponder, like little things. Seat belts on. I flew with the APU ones on, but most likely I tried to remember everything without using a checklist. But recently, well, it's good exercise for your memory, and you find, I don't know, I feel like a kid caught with a hand in a cookie jar when I make a mistake. It's just so obvious and easy to not to do it, and I did it. Okay, so don't beat yourself too much. Real people forget too. I mean, real pilots, but they will never admit to it. If you ask the real pilot if you had like any emergencies in your life, no, everything was smooth. They will not tell you. In this flight simulator, I had some emergencies, and I crashed once. Okay, and I'm not gonna talk about it because it wasn't pretty, and it put me away for like 2 weeks, not want me to touch the simulator. I was like, no. See, I bought a new plane which was a little bit different than the previous one, and what got me is not knowing the airplane. That's why people being real pilots, they fly on one airplane only, and they have ratings. So they go on 737 and they fly 737, 800 or 700. All of those models are the same, but you heard recently what happened with that MAX issue. That's supposed to be the same, but it wasn't. So when emergency arose, like, people did not know what to do. They will probably figure out if it's higher altitude. But when you take from the airport that is altitude 7,600 feet above the sea level, and you only reach 8,000 before dropping from the radar, that tells me that they had, I don't know, minute, maybe minute and a half, and you have to make a right decision in that quadrant. And the procedures sometimes are choked. I would argue with the procedures, because I would say in the emergency like this, follow your gut. Okay. Not the checklist. If you start reading in the KHOU quick reference manual, that's what I want to say. Oh, the weather reloaded and throw me off balance a little bit. I would not. There's no time to read anything, and then you want a fast reading, and you miss half it, you don't understand what you're reading, and you have to read it again. Oh, it's just way too disaster. If you follow your gut, most likely you're gonna do the right decision. I don't think any pilots would do wrong decision, because they're trained. The training kicks in automatically. But that's my theory. Same thing when you take off. You have V1 speed, which is basically the safest speed before V1 to stop, to abort. Everything after, you should continue taking off. I would argue that sometimes maybe sliding and crashing is better than crashing completely, okay? So I just say follow your gut is the best thing, but we are governed by laws and things that are not always. I say there is more logic in air industry, in aviation, than anywhere else, but still there are some things that baffle me. Like I don't get it. Why? What is going on? Let's look outside. Okay, now we're over land. Maybe on this side we'll see some water. A little bit of water here. Let's do some flyby. That's the best view. Look at the Gulf Mexico. And we're flying crooked. Yeah, because the wind is strong and it's pushing us. And let's do another flyby because the computer kind of lost few frames in the process. And let's do from a different camera. This is a better view with the water. I'm gonna do another one. And beautiful. So that's how we're flying. Yes, I'm so sad that recently I had a very good graphics setup, but after the upgrade, my main problem, and everybody else had the same complaint, their frames start to drop. So my one way, because I don't know how to set it up, I'm not like the whiz in explain software, I reduced my graphics settings, so everything is more less like basic right now in order to get this number. You see right here, before I did not even have display, but my number dropped to 14 or 5, and that's not acceptable. Okay, it should not go that low. We are approaching what we are approaching. It's always good to know where we're flying. Okay, there's one way to find out, and I'm gonna show it to you. We go to Avitab, we go to Home, and Map. And it's working. Sometimes it's working, sometimes not working. Okay, zoom 12 is high. We're gonna go zoom 10. That way, we have Mobile, Alabama, just to our right. So instead of guessing and finding out where you are, you can look at the map in the Zebo. If you don't have the tab, the iPad or whatever is this, maybe a Google tab, or you can go here, plugins, and go to Avitab and toggle the tablets, so you can see in the different planes where you fly. Sometimes there's support, sometimes they don't. Okey-doke. So we turn, we're going to change our heading selection from it's going to be 88. But of course, wind is pushing us nicer. Let's see what's our ground speed. 497 knots, and true airspeed is 446. Wind from behind, I always take it. I love tailwinds, except descending. Descending is tricky because you want to slow down and the wind is pushing you faster. It's all about the balance. Let's look at our progress, which is here. We still have 217 miles to top of the sun. And I'm losing voice. So I don't know if I'm gonna talk like this to the end of this video. Or I'm just gonna lose my voice completely and go, that's it. Now, enjoy the view. No more listening. Oh, you will hear the engines and everything. But I hope my comments are recording too. Sometimes I had a problem with microphone, and there was like echo going on. So I had to dump the recording. We'll see. I'm gonna run the recording to check if everything is fine, and then I'm gonna put it up on a YouTube, and it's gonna be my first clip, first YouTube video. Hopefully this time, because I'm sick and tired of the attempts. First attempt was black screen. 2 hours of black screen. How exciting is that, huh? No sound, no nothing, just a black screen. Good that you can erase everything and start over, but unfortunately, well, there are tutorials to tell you how, but people who are doing tutorials, sometimes they know the stuff, so they know how to do it. They forget how to teach others, and my way, I need to find out. Like if I, let's say, I'm setting up the arriving pressure, okay, in the airplane, in the airport. So I'm gonna go and tell you what I do. So I go to the knob right here, and I'm gonna zoom in. Remember, one I already set up in the computer, but I already checked 3017. So this is how you do it. So I'll tell you to zoom like this and position your mouse here and click until you get the right number. So I don't know if this is 45 minutes ago, if anything changed in our setup in no, it's the same. Okay, so back to legs. I think in the map, okay, let's go to the map. I think we're flying over Florida already, Mobile, Alabama. This is the borderline, and then I think Alabama, what's the state in the middle here? Okay, geography. Pensacola is Florida, so there is some kind of border around here. So it could be still in a different state. But this is definitely Florida. And Florida is the best state in the world. Well, somebody says for mosquitoes and hurricanes are crushing. But hurricanes you can run away from. Okay. I know it's not fun, but I love Florida. My favorite place in Florida is Key West, on the southern tip, 90 miles away from Cuba. Life is, well, it's not like the island life. It's not like if you go to Bahamas and you have lazy life there. And Florida is more like American life, busy. But Key West is something in between. They always say paradise, but well, I don't know what is the definition of paradise. Seeing much nicer weather. This is coast of Florida, because I'm sure right now we're over Florida. I love how the clouds are. Some people say that they need special software for clouds, but I think that's beautiful. And maybe those clouds look animated or not natural, but to me they're amazing. I don't need anything more. Default X-plane weather is perfect. This looks like the fire on the ground, and when you fly over Florida there's a lot of fires like this. Some airport. There's another airport here. There's another airport here. When I fly on a plane, I always check the airport. But unfortunately, when I fly on a plane, I have view like this. More like view like that. Because the first view is from the first class. And, well, I'm not gonna spend money on a seat flying from one place to another to pay $1,000 just to sit somewhere. I think it's, well, I'm not rich, so I don't want to say anything, okay, but I'm gonna change. This is for the next setting. And the next one is okay, that's all. Let's see what Jacksonville viewer is. Well, there is none in the airport, but there is one further out, and it's 114.5. So go 114.5. Let's set up this one. This one is Jacksonville Executive Square. But Jacksonville International does not have VOR, which is okay. We don't need to have it. We have GPS and magenta line, which we follow. Number 4 will lead me to 124 miles to top of the sand, which is, it starts to get busy, okay? Because closer to the airport you are, more work you have to do. So we set the speed, landing speed, we set the pressure. I think the pressure is gonna stay more like the same, but we're gonna set for 80s, which I'm gonna have a 125.85. 125. Okay, I'm gonna leave this as is. 125.85. Okay, this is going to be our eddies in Jacksonville, but I took this from a plate. I'm going to have information what is the real one soon. Sometimes this is the right word, sometimes it's not. And I mentioned earlier that I'm not a pilot, so I don't know in which case why some information is printed the way it is. Probably pilots do have their explanation when they go through school. I wish I had opportunity to go through flight school, because then I will not sit on a chair and fly simulator. I will fly the real plane, and I don't know if anybody saw Zebo Mod videos on YouTube. That's 100% real life videos. And he's so lucky if he's flying from Fort Lauderdale and around, going to Bahamas, Key West, sometimes Mexico, sometimes Alabama, sometimes Texas, sometimes Atlanta. He even went up to Boston and areas. I love his videos, and I'm his patron, I support his channel, and I wish him the best. I wish he's closer here, but I only met him once when I went to Oshkosh. And Oshkosh for me, it was the first time. My mother could walk by and I will not recognize or notice her. I was so busy checking out everything. And also, there was another thing that I had to find, that my friend who was giving me a ride from Chicago, I can always see him, because otherwise I'll be hitchhiking back to Chicago if we get lost. And believe me, okay, we have cell phones, but still, it may not work or may something happen, and you never know. So you don't want to lose your ride back to civilization, because I assume that no hotels around Oshkosh had like a half a bed or anything available. This year was kind of cool. They had few rains, but I wish if I go ever again next time to Oshkosh, I will stay there for a whole week. There's so much to see that one day is simply not enough, because you're just exhausted. You're so tired, and because I want to move and check this, and then they have different displays, different days. May I have some sip of tea? Hold on. For every aviation enthusiast like myself, you have to see Oshkosh. And then also I would love to see Paris, and I would love to see Farnborough. But, you know, they're all far away, so I don't think if I ever had a chance in life to fly to Paris to see the air show. But those are the most important ones in the world. And then this year in Orlando, Florida, there is a Flight Sim Expo beginning of July. I think it's 7 to 9. I think it's beginning like a weekend. And I'm thinking to go. The problem for me is not a problem, it's just far away, because I'm in Vancouver. Flying to Orlando is not going to be one flight. If I can fly in a cockpit, I would do it in no time. But it's not going to happen, because only airline employees are allowed to enter the cockpit and fly inside right now, because, you know, after 9/11 nobody is allowed into the cockpit. And I was sitting in a jump seat just before they closed the door. The rules is, if they close the door, there's nobody around in the cockpit. So they kicked me out. And of course, after flying, it's just way too busy, and the pilots want to go home or to hotel or whatever. There's no time for sitting and chatting. They don't find, I don't know, I did not find anybody who will say, oh yeah, oh let me show you this and let me show you that, and spend some time. But understandable, they're at work, and when they finish they want to go to to the next assignment or go home or to their hotel, relax. Nobody wants to chat about something they just did, because for maybe 80% of pilots I met, that's just a job for them. And I was surprised how they react, but I was like, oh my god, I'm talking to a pilot. And they go like, oh, I'm so tired. Maybe next time or something. I go like, what? You don't want to talk about anything? No, it's just a job. I was a little bit disappointed. Only few like people who are passionate are putting videos up, but they always live far away. Yep. Another guy I like is Premier One Driver. He has his own jet, flies around the States mostly, and putting up videos. I think one of the best. I can listen to ATC almost like I'm listening to the radio when I go to sleep. Anyway, it sounds crazy, but you have to be a little bit crazy to do this. Not crazy. I say passionate. You know, this is what I love. I love aviation. And I'm happy with the technology allows me to sit at home and fly 737. I know it's only my chair and the screen, but I feel like I'm there. Well, this is the second best thing, you know? I'm not allowed into the cockpit, so I flew the closest one was the simulator that is cut up into the nose of a real 737, but I had to pay for it, so you know that fun is expensive. You would like to spend a day there, I don't know how much it's going to cost you. We charge like I'm not going to say how much, just because, but it's a lot of fun when you switch the real switch instead of clicking the mouse. And yeah, that's the fun that I cannot. It's no better fun than that. Well, better is aerial flying, but we'll see. Okay. If I have a weather radar, I'll put the radar on to see what is that build up here on my right, but I don't have it, so I'm just gonna fly through. Even if you turn the radar, some people say that it works only on a certain range. It's not working for me. Okay, this is the last viewer. This is Jacksonville, the other airport. So it is 150 miles, 151 miles away. And it's roughly in that direction, but we're not flying to that airport. Plus, we have to kind of not zigzag, but make this little turn to the left. So we're probably gonna go. We'll see. That's our top of the sand point. Ooh, see, we're talking, and I should descend already. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go down, look for say 14. Okay, we're gonna use the Vino because top of the sign here is earlier than my top of the sign. Okay, if you look at the display, it says 15 miles too, and it's 12585. Okay, I got distracted. 12585. That's good. Okay, can dismiss that. So, coming back to what I was talking about, that the first time I see that my top of the sand is earlier, no, the VNAV top of the sand is earlier than my ring. Usually my ring is earlier than that. So we're just gonna use that, okay? Still 100 miles away from the more than 100 miles away from the airport. You see what I'm gonna tell you that I don't like about the VNAV. How is diving right? Two and a half miles before. You can choose any altitude. I decided to go with the middle, okay? And now we're descending. But look at the number.
We are just commencing our descent. Looks like we'll be landing ahead of schedule and the weather conditions are looking good at our destination. We'll be touching down in less than 30 minutes, so do make your way back to your seats. Thanks for choosing to fly with us today, and it's been a pleasure having you on board.
Which the gentleman that you heard a voice, the captain, sync rate. I have sync rate work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has switched on the fasten seatbelt sign as we are now at descent. We would ask you to return to your seats and ensure that your seatbelts are securely fastened. Your tray tables are
Okay, all is because of that part. He wants to be in the middle. But anyway, the captain said that this number is pretty realistic and you will never hear at this altitude, not hear, feel that is that drastic. But what I will say, if you're in the elevator and the elevator sync rate again, see, if my computer is giving me sync rate, that means that it's not nice, okay? Let's see what we have. 13. Okay, so first one is between 26 and 24. This is 13, then 12 and 9. That is far away. With VNAV, I can put 2000, okay? Because that's what it really matters is that number. So it's gonna sit on the profile. I was just gonna show you. So it's gonna sit on the profile. It's not gonna descend any more than it needs to. Is good. It's gonna be maintaining. You see right now, the descent rate is very shallow, and our speed went up very high, but now it's gonna be so. That's why I don't like VNAV descent, because it's to me it's erratic. Somebody who has more experience or more information, please correct me. But I just don't like descent in the VNAV. Okay. Why it dove so much when now it's leveling? Okay. So want people to what? Use the bags to throw up? I don't think so. If I descend, I will descend one nice profile like 2,000 feet per minute, and then just go for it, okay? Now we're gonna be like jumping like stairs, level and then down, and level and then down. When it's good leveling, it's good to slow down, but the weather is beautiful. We're gonna change the first thing. We're gonna change the altitude from standard to 3117, and I'm gonna put this already 2992 here. Drugs required. So now it's telling me that you're too fast. Okay, you see that?
Traffic.
And it's telling.
Clear of conflict.
Okay, clear. Its speed is, because it reduced the speed, he wants to go 2 to 80, okay? Spoilers arm, auto brakes on 2, flaps are still 0, but we high, so we don't need flaps yet. Plus the speed is around 290. You do flaps according to that table. I think 250 is the first speed that you can extend the flaps. Okay, we're gonna switch momentarily, which gonna go like this. Okay, you see now? We switch to this number. We're gonna listen to 80s, and if 80s give me different number, then I'm gonna readjust. If not, we stay like this. Okay? Next one is going to be 10,000 feet. We're going to put some, okay, we need to slow down because the speed is going too fast. Message, but I'm going to, what's the speed between here? It says 280, 250 is here. definitely we should slow down to 280 at least. Slowing down, that's okay. I'm gonna put some half flaps to just half spoilers. Something like this, just a little bit. Goes next. We can manage the speed here and go slower.
Jacksonville INTL information Papa. 2100 Zulu weather. Wind 130 at 14. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 5,000 few. 25,000 few. Temperature 24. Dew point 11. Altimeter 3019. Arriving runways 08. 14. Departing runways 08. 14. Advise on initial contact you have Papa. Jacksonville INTL information Papa. 2100 Zulu weather. Wind 130 at 14. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 5,000 few. 25,000 few. Temperature 24. Dew point 11. Altimeter 3019. Arriving runways 08. 14. Departing runways 08. 14. Advise on initial contact you have Papa.
Okay, number, we heard this, where we are.
Jacksonville INTL information Papa.
Thank you. Thank you for Papa. We know, we take it. Okay, we are coming close to the airport. I'm gonna put first flaps. First flaps. I'm gonna reduce the speed. Where are we here? To 200. I'm gonna put spoilers up all the way. Landing lights on. Seatbelts on. Engine 2 continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has switched on the fasten seatbelt sign. We'd like to ask you to return to your seats and ensure your seatbelts are securely fastened. There should be no more further walking or standing in the cabin aisle, and the use of the toilet is no longer permitted. Thank you.
Sets of flaps. When you have this number so close, you have to be careful not to dial this one when you want to reduce the speed, especially that they're very close to each other. Okay, 94. Okay, and then what we can do is to go this 25. We're gonna adjust to 94. going direct touch, and that's between 6,000 and 5,000, and we are 7,000. Well, according to VNAV, we are right dead in the profile. Okay, 180.75. That's the next point, which is 10 miles away. We'll be there. No problem. So I'm more cautious. I love not to speed up, not to come up very quickly. Maybe because I don't have much experience. Maybe if I have more experience, I'll go 210 all the way to the gate and then drop the speed. But I'll feel uncomfortable doing this. That's why I reduce the speed earlier and gradually. And hopefully this way, I'll have safe landing. We're gonna change the range to... I should do it from this side. See why I'm doing it. You have more room here, okay? And if you're close at the knob view, you have less room, so... 170. Next point, and next point is here, so we'll be 2,000 by then. We have weird clouds going on. There was a blue sky, but now it's cloudy. That can happen in a sim. It will never happen in real life, because if you don't see cloud, you don't see cloud. Here they just appear out of nowhere sometimes. Flaps 3 and 5. I'm saying this is third flap, and we're gonna reduce to 165. Temperature is plus. Well, what's the temperature? Plus 17, so you don't need to have anti-ice. And what's the message here? There's no message. Next set of flaps. See, this is our runway this way. So this point, which is called Ortar. Here. That's the point, 10 miles away from here. That's why I want to be, by that point, I want to be close to the approach speed. And you see that point right here? It says diesel. Then when we turn, we should have like really 140, 155, 150 speed, depends. It's not picking up the number yet. It is. The right one, but there's no DME yet. We'll see. But we have a glide slope kind of coming into the range. We are 37. See how engines are going faster and slower? That's VINA for you, okay? I don't like that sound. I like to come with a nice low speed. There's a light here, you see that? That light was warning me that spoilers are extended a little bit.
Thousand to go.
1,000 to go. I'm gonna put gear out when we capture the glide slope after the turn. This is
2500.
radio altimeter, and that noise is because of the gear is not extended. Okay, I'm gonna put the gear down just to quiet it. And we have nose gear and 3 green. So we configure for landing. We have 3 green, we have flaps in the progress, we have auto brake, and we have spoilers on. Now we turn, we're gonna drop the speed to 145. We're gonna put flap 30. This is 25 now. And you see the diamond becomes solid and is turning into the center lane. Okay, and this one becomes solid, and then we could press the approach button, but I'm gonna wait until the turn is finished. Normally when the diamond becomes solid, that's the time to arm approach. You don't see the runway yet. Probably somewhere here over there. That's the runway, because Jacksonville has only, they look like V. There's only one runway, one direction, one runway, one direction. So we're gonna fly with this speed, with this set of flaps, until we go and capture the glide slope. I don't know why it's still not giving me a DME here, but maybe that's okay. We are 2,000 feet. We are flaps, engine continues, so we have seatbelts on, and we have lights on. Okay, that's good, good, good. Okay, we're gonna arm approach. When this dot comes here, we're gonna drop the speed to 145 and put full flaps. Still no DME. Okay, flaps 30. We are on the right spot. This is too white, too red. That means that we are approaching in a nice... The runway looks short from this angle, but it is 7,000 feet, so more than 7,000 feet. I'm gonna start flight manually.
1,000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Approach altitude set.
Right now.
Approaching 14.
Start being too high.
500. 400. 300. Approaching minimums.
We continue.
200. Minimums. 100.
Flight slow.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Reverse on.
knots.
Reverse off. Gonna take the high speed exit. I'm gonna stop here.
Thank you for flying Ryanair. Last year, over 90% of our flights arrived on time. We hope you enjoyed yours,
clean
and we
airplane.
look forward to welcoming you on board again soon. Ryanair. Low fares, made simple.
Okie doke. Welcome to Jacksonville. I'm gonna stop here, I said.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to this airport. For your own comfort and safety, please remain seated with your
What we're
seatbelt
gonna do
securely
is
fastened
go
until
to
the aircraft
plugins,
comes to complete stop
airport.
and the captain has switched off
Oh.
the fasten seatbelt sign. Please
Okay.
refrain from smoking until
To
it's
find
completely
the
designated smoking area,
right
which is
way
well
to
outside
go
the
to
terminal
terminal.
building.
So
On
it
behalf
looks
of your crew on
like
board today, we'd
we
like to
should
thank you for
should
choosing to
do
fly with us,
take
and we wish you a safe onward
Tango,
journey.
no, Romeo, taxiway Romeo. But I'm just gonna zoom here to confirm. Yes, it is Romeo. So we're gonna go to the left. That's the terminal in front of us. So now what we're gonna do is turn transponder to out off, so we're not confusing anybody who is on the ground. We're gonna turn all landing lights off. We're gonna put taxi lights on. we may put APU on. We switch engines to auto. We switch strobes to steady. What else? We still have seatbelts on. We have APU bleed off. Good. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jacksonville, Florida. Which stand are we supposed to take? Are we going to the gate? Yes, Ryanair always go to the gate. My Ryanair. The real life, you just park somewhere in the back of the airport and then you take a bus. Why? Because it's cheaper that way. So we're gonna take Romeo all the way to the terminal and see the first gate available. Okay, we're gonna go outside. That's how it looks like. That's your cargo terminal right here. I don't know why Romeo is not continuous here, but let's say it's a mistake, because it probably is. Maybe they fly like place next to Air Canada. Gonna slow down, go out and see if the gate is available. Yeah, we have a gate there. So let's continue to that gate. There's another plane, but I thought I saw space. Okay. I'm gonna turn right here. Yeah, there's space. Gonna have nice company too. Air Canada, Airbus jets, and us, which is right here. We're gonna aim so we can turn all the lights off right now. See, this is the marker that is supposed to turn into the gate, but I'm kind of cheating, so I'll go out. And click this out and see. Told you earlier, this plane does not like to turn. Especially with the slower speeds, it's hard to turn. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are arrived at the gate. Which gate is that? Let's go first to inside. and put the brakes on. Good. So we can go to overhead panel, put the APU on the bus, so we're not losing power. We can turn this one off. We can turn the engines off now. Both of them, 1 and 2. We're looking for 20% of, I don't know, N2 or N1. Who will tell me which is more important? Let's say we'll go 20% of N2. Okay, good. We're gonna turn beacon off and we can let people out. Let them stand up. So the fuel, we're gonna leave it for APU. We can turn the pitot heat off, and this bleed is supposed to go on. We then take hydraulics off, and the next thing is to just leave it like this, and go to replay to see how was our landing. So we're gonna toggle the replay mode, go behind the airplane and move a little bit back, a little bit back. You're in error now, so that's good. And cannot do anything right now, but view from the runway, but I don't know if this is the right runway. Let's go back. Well, we see the plane, so it is the right runway, I guess. But it could be that we're sitting at number 8, and we'll see. Nope, that's not the right runway. Okay, so go back to the. See, because the one runway is this way and the one runway is this way. No, still not the right one. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't perfect because I did not end up on the center line, but honestly I have a hard time to always get on the center line. I don't know what to do really. as a virtual pilot, how to approach that I will nail my landing. The best way is to land when you see the runway. Let's see. I'm just gonna turn away. You have those landing marks here. See? The best way is to touch here, in this landing mark. We were touching here, which is a little bit too far, but it's still okay. Those are still okay landing marks, okay? But, yeah. No. Nobody is perfect. Okay, that will be all from me in regards to that segment from Houston Hobby to Jacksonville International, Kilo Hotel Oscar uniform to Kilo Juliet Alpha X-ray. I don't know why I want to say Janet. Maybe Janet Jackson, huh? Jacksonville, Janet Jackson. There's so many Jacks. So many Jacks. And then where we want to fly from here? My idea was to fly from Jacksonville to Key West. It's gonna be challenging because the runway is very short. There's no ILS. It's only RNAV approaches. And I've been there a few times. I landed there a few times. Not always, let's say, in the right spot, okay? Sometimes too far. And when the runway is short, it's difficult to slow down. So if we go to QS, we're gonna be landing with, excuse me, landing brake in the max. Okay. Where is that? So this will be set to max, and it could be nice. It could be funny. We'll see. That's a thought. Maybe something else will come out. I don't know. Okay. So right now in Jacksonville, this is repeat. We're taxiing into the gate. And we stop, so we're gonna go and look from outside. See, when you have ATC coverage, ATC will tell you basically where to go. And they will tell you, go and taxi Romeo to Papa, and then turn to whatever gate or stand they will assign to you. When I fly myself, it is kind of difficult to figure out if you don't know the airport. This is honestly first time in Jacksonville airport, so I don't like to be lost or going into the wrong direction. I just want to do it properly in a way that is supposed to be done. Let's say like a pro. I don't like to look like a stupid kid with who's not knowing what he's doing. But I think everybody's like that. Nobody likes to be caught making mistakes. Okay. So yeah. So far this looks promising that I will put it on YouTube. I have to run it again and check that everything is okay, like the sound, like I did not make stupid mistakes, so everything went smoothly. And yeah, I hope you guys are gonna be happy with this this segment. I know that this is not real life, so you're not gonna find Ryanair flying to Jacksonville. But let's say I have to dress the plane some way, okay? And I like the Ryanair music when you land. And it says that low fares, and we are on time all the time. We are the best airline. Which in Europe people have a different opinion about the best airline, but you know how it is like. People always criticize if they can. I like the blue color, so Ryanair for me is nice logo. I flew KLM. I flew Alaska is my favorite airline in North America. In Canada, WestJet, of course. But other than that, it's just like say fancy clothes for a person. It doesn't matter what kind of painting or livery you're using. So, see, Air Canada, I love this color, this scheme. This was the best. Now they look like raccoons flying around. They're all black, and the engines are black, and I don't know. I just don't know. But some people say, oh, I love New Air Canada. Air Canada livery is so cool. I think it's awful, but that's my own personal opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own personal opinions, so don't beat me for it. Don't be nasty in the comments. And we're just gonna switch from the replay mode. So now when we go inside, we can deal with that light, and we can finish setup. So the first thing is being environmentally friendly people. You connect the GPU, and you connect the GPU to the bus, and you kill APU. Boom, you don't need anymore, okay? Because what we need is just the power. And then we go with this button to external power, and we can turn everything off. I only found one place, GPU is still working, but I only found one place that you turn the light, window heat off, and I was fogging up. It was -2 in Aspen, Colorado, and this became white. So I had to wait a little bit for window to clear. Which I love the realism of X-Plane. I love that game. Whoever asked me, this is the best game for everybody. The best game ever. Okay, what I could do is turn IRSs off. By the way, if somebody says 6 green for landing light, there's the 3 lights here and 3 lights here. So they have 3 green, they're right. If they say 6 green, they also right, because 3 are on the overhead panel. So we can put this to 0. We didn't set the miss approach, which was 3,000 feet, but that's okay. That's my mistake. I'm gonna put let's say 5. I'm getting out from here. Usually people do this. 100. That means that not been cleared. If it's like this, that means you're clear. Or with the landing lights, we don't put the taxi light on or off, to clear or not. Okay, good. Overhead panel looks good. This can be turned off. We have external power. We don't need anything else. Everything is cool. I don't have to do 0, but I will. And oh, and this one, and this one. I can set 2000. No, 2. This way. Okay, and stand by. So thank you very much for watching. Drop me some comments, tell me what you like, you don't like something. Maybe I made terrible boo-boo. Mistake. It was almost 2 hours flight. I said 1:45, which is okay. Okay. Take care. Take care of each other. Be good to everybody. Have a safe flight if you're flying. And see you next time. Hopefully soon.